Just before I came out here, I decided to sell every single stock in my portfolio. That is right, every single stock that I own has now been sold. I want to talk to you guys about that, why I've done that, because that might seem crazy, especially for somebody who has quite an extensive knowledge of the stock market. Like I've said to you guys before, I've been investing since I was around 17 and I learned quite a lot. I've made some decent money, I've made some losses, but I've now decided to sell all of my stocks. And that might sound crazy, but I want to explain why. So I'll give you a bit of a backstory. I started investing in about 2020. So at that time, obviously a lot of stocks were pumping, a lot of cryptos were pumping, everybody was at home, lockdown, companies getting overvalued, and we all know what happened next. A lot of the stocks started to drop in 2021. Now a lot of this really didn't end until 2023, and actually at the moment we're seeing a bit of a rally in some big companies. So where I am right now, I had a portfolio which was of a decent size, not amazing, and it has been bigger in the past, but it was still a decent value. And I was wondering where I want to go next because I decided I was happy with the take profit that I had on my previous stock, so I decided to move on because, in my opinion, at my current stage, I want to hold one stock at a time for the simple point of I don't have the potential to diversify like that. There's no real point. I think it was Warren Buffett, but don't quote me on it, that said concentration builds wealth, whereas diversification maintains it. And it's that whole kind of thing for me. Like, if I have one stock that goes up 20%, that's more positive for me than to have 10 stocks that all go up by like 1%. It just makes more sense to kind of take more risk because I have more to gain and I have less to lose. Whereas if I had millions in the stock market, obviously it'd be a different game and I'd probably have to play it a lot more safe. But the point is, I decided that I even sold all of the stocks that I own, all of the stock that I own, every single penny, and decided that I want to move on. The question is then, where do I put that money and what am I doing with it? Because it's not over and I want to use it to invest again, just not in the stock market, and there are quite a few reasons for that. And no, I'm not moving on to crypto. Let me explain my plan. So this needs to go back to the original concept of why I decided to sell and move out of the stock market. And that's because I discovered a new plan for me that's been working quite well. And if you guys have been watching the channel for some time now, you will know what it is because it is kind of the concept of this channel. It's the fact that I've been starting quite a few side hustles and businesses that have been doing quite well, and I've really made quite a bit of money at the moment. I'm quite happy with my results and I think I'm doing alright, but the question is, how do I get this to the next level? Because, right now I'm in a brilliant place, the view's quite amazing to be honest, but this is only for a week. I want to make stuff like this and arguably even better and bigger in bigger places. I want to make this the average. So how do I go about doing that? How do I go about staying in places like this more often? And that's why I need to take this business to the next level. So I'm going to use that money to invest into a new business. That's right, I want to buy an already established business. The reason for that is because whilst the stock market can make you 10% returns, 5% returns a year, A, it's risky, and B, think about what you're doing anyway. I'm not telling you guys to do this or not, I'm just telling you what I'm doing, giving you guys full transparency as I want to update both you and my future self as to what I did at certain times. But think about what the stock market is. The stock market is buying small pieces of another business. Now that's great for the average Joe who works in the office behind me. But for somebody like me who wants to run my own business and has been doing so over the past couple of months and arguably in the past couple of years, I understand what goes into making a business. And I'm not saying all of my business plans have gone well. Like I say, a lot of the time, a lot of them have failed and a lot of them probably will continue to fail. But the point is, if I'm buying shares in any company, I'm not on the board of directors, I'm not the CEO, I'm not the owner. Long story short, I have no influence over the company. All I'd be doing is buying companies that I believe in, most of which will already be established because otherwise the risk will be so high, most people, including myself, wouldn't be willing to take it. Whereas with my own business, I feel a lot more of a conviction. Let's say I bought an existing business that was a decent startup and is making some okay revenue. It has a bit of a track record, but realistically that doesn't even matter. What matters is the fact that I am in charge of it, and whether it goes well or not, I am the one who is deciding that. It depends on what I do to the business, how I run the business, and ultimately how good of a business person I am. So for that reason, I'd rather have that money invested into my own business for better returns, better potential growth, and better long-term results. And I think it goes back to that statement from earlier about the diversification of wealth. This is for me not the stage to do it because I don't have the amount of money that I want. If I wanted to maintain my current cash level, I'd diversify by 15 stocks, by 20 stocks. But what I really want to do is build that business portfolio. And to do that, you have to have businesses. And you know, as much as we can make a channel based around side hustles, hard work, and all that kind of stuff, there's only so much that someone can realistically do. And each business that I do could fail, could win. And obviously that's a risk that I have to take. Whereas if I was to purchase an established business, it's already a winner. Now obviously it could fail, it's not impossible, but again, with the right management, if I pick a business in a field that I'm aware of, which would be something like potentially online retail and e-commerce, something like that, it's not impossible that I could have a successful business. So the moral of the story, what I'm trying to say is, I think for my cash level, for my ambition level, it makes much more sense for me to invest in another business, to buy my own business, run that either fully myself or at least manage it fully myself, know where that's going, know where the financial data is for that immediately, not have to worry about earnings reports or anything like that, do that for myself, and then at that point, you know, hopefully that will give me the future capital to then go on to invest in the stock market. But I think the stock market was a great thing to learn at such a young age. I would recommend that anybody, you know, turning 18 does at least learn about it so that you know what it is, because most people never learn about it, and it is a great skill to carry and to have. You'll have a massive advantage over anybody else. But I think for me at the moment, I'd like to just build my business portfolio. So that's the reason why I sold all my stock. Hopefully you guys found this video okay. Like I say, I just want to update you guys and myself in the future looking back. So yeah, if you want to keep updated with the channel and the story, don't forget to subscribe and like the videos. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.